Anna and Dennis, and we're going to be presenting business mindset. So this week we've been learning about business mindsets and ways in which we can apply it to our business idea. But we've also been thinking about our own mindsets, not only that of our business. And one thing that we've been discussing is the fixed versus the growth mindset. And in a growth mindset, so in a growth mindset, individuals really are in a continuous learning journey where they embrace challenges, they persist in the face of setbacks, they take all the lessons from the feedback that they've been given, learning from criticism as well, and they use all this information to continuously evolve not only as individuals but also in the projects and the processes that they're working in their development.
So the business mindsets are the ways in which businesses can approach in every single sector, and it's ways of thinking about the business and how you want to apply them.
So the elements that we will be targeting is first circular in terms of mindset, also transparent in terms of the feedback that we will receive and the approach of how we will work with these feedbacks, and also pre-owned. So the first business mindset that we will be working with is the circular economy. And in contrast to linear economy where you take, make, and dispose, we will be making, consuming, and enriching. This helps us in raising the awareness for the value of secondhand clothing. It also helps in increasing the awareness for quality of the clothes. And it also helps in minimizing the energy leakage. It also creates a constant inventory for us, and it also helps in creating a community.
The other mindset which we particularly found ourselves drawn to and that we really want to work with is lean startup. And just because the methodology behind it is fail fast and fail soon, and obviously learn from those failures and iterate constantly to find those opportunities that you can add value to the market. So the idea behind this is that we want to create an MVP as fast as we possibly can, get it out into the market, get feedback from our potential users, find areas of opportunity, find what they're missing or what they're lacking or what is not currently being addressed in the market, and find ways in which we can create a strong value proposition to address those needs with our business idea. We will also be able to, through the lean startup and the minimum viable product, we will also be able to create more value for our customers with fewer resources and thus ensure transparency, not only in the process of coming up or creating our business, but also in the business idea itself.
So, and then the third one is the knowledge and creative economy, where we want to have an interface that's based on culture, technology, economics, and the world, because the world is dominated by images, sounds, and texts. Art and knowledge does create business, as we all know, and we just want to work with the knowledge, with the know-how, and help these ideas become reality. Surrounding ourselves with a lot of creative professionals who always are driven by new ideas and creative ideas. It's also important to share processes and ideations and also show the consumer how creative we are. And then also thinking about what the impact is on our consumers' lives.
Thank you very much.
I have a one quick question. The three model: circular, lean startup, and knowledge and creative. You mentioned transparency in particular under the lean startup. Is that's an important element in the brand, in the reputation, in the imagery that you want to project through this business, and why?
Yes, I'll start. Yeah, we did mention transparency as part of that, the lean startup. I think it also goes hand in hand with the circular economy. A lot of what we've been seeing in the competition out there when it comes to pre-owned or secondhand clothing, there's a lack of transparency, and that is something that we want to move away from. We want to be able to change the customer experience with the concept of pre-owned and secondhand. And I think transparency is a crucial concept of changing that mentality, allowing the user to really understand where their items are coming from. And the process that they're going through to be able to give them new life is going to allow us to change that perception with our customers, and that's where the transparency comes into play.
Thank you very much. That's particularly important. Interested to hear what you said about the story about where the item comes from, because that may well be a significant selling point for the item.
And I also think that transparency helps in creating a degree of loyalty between us and the consumer or the client.
Well, in your presentation, I have seen you have the idea of prepare an MVP to launch your concept, right? Is what I have seen. I would like to know what kind of MVP will help you to test your idea. Do you have any idea of what could be or your MVP or?
So we're thinking of creating a platform for our business. So it would be a very rough platform mock-up that would just help the user navigate through what their customer journey would look like once they start to interact with the platform. And I think that would give us insight not only into their behaviors and what they're going through and how they're analyzing certain information, but also the business model that we're presenting.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, next team.
Hello. So, hello, I'm Victor.
I'm Felix.
And we are Quiver. And Quiver engages like-minded people nearby to break down barriers around practicing extreme sports.
Yeah, from this week we had 4 mindsets which we related to in our project. We've been talking about them already or are thought about new ideas regarding these mindsets. And the first one would be the lean startup, of course. I mean, the idea from the beginning was to do an MVP, to experiment around. As our concept, as we're targeting different sports and different areas of the sports, traveling, information exchange, creation of content, it allows us to experiment in the way maybe one sport goes more in the direction of transport, one goes more in the creation of media. So it gives us lots of room to experiment. And on the other hand, it's our users doing the action sports, it's their passion. So they choose to do it. And we feel like they're also open for trying out a beta version or trying out a version which is, or working with us to fulfill their needs. It's not that, for instance, it's a navigation system where you get fed up if it doesn't work. It's a project made from action sports enthusiasts for action sports enthusiasts, and I think the feel of the community could really go in there. And for the MVP, we thought about first doing some kind of website where we explain the project and get people to sign up, or so we have a first state of the interest, and then do a
Wireframe.
a wireframe in a web-based version, and after that the app, which over time can always be updated with new features or features which are demanded in the future then. And the next mindset we looked at was a circular economy. It's very in sync with our users. Our users, the surfers, the skiers, they're very much related to nature. That's where their passion lies. That's where their sport takes place. And there are already lots of programs where initiatives to save the winter, they say, or clean up the ocean. And we can, on one hand, get the users in by targeting their interests, but on the other hand, also educating users which aren't familiar with this or aren't that familiar with circular economy to use our app, our platform as a way to educate about circular economy.
So we want to be clear that this is not like adapting onto our personal business, but more like on our users. So we keep it in our like mindset, but it's not like when we are developing the platform that is going to be adapted onto the platform. Then the third one is the sharing economy, of course, because the whole app is about sharing information, sharing knowledge. It's like we saw earlier, also called a platform economy. Everything that is possible to be a platform will be a platform. So we are obviously joining that and supporting that movement. The contemporary aspect where users are used to using these kind of platforms, for example, BlaBlaCar and Airbnb, yeah, they are all very they are perfectly aligned with our targeted audience. So we think that sharing economy would be definitely important for us to keep in mind and import in our mindset. And then acquiring, providing, and sharing are the three keys of sharing economy, which fit perfectly in our... Hello. And the last one is the knowledge economy, because it's still all about knowledge, like everybody who... So it's... the users give their location-based knowledge. So when you're a user from Barcelona, you share your knowledge about your location to people who don't know information about your location. So it's all based on sharing knowledge. The accessibility of information is very important, that it needs to be efficient, it needs to be clear. And then we need to
Yeah, through all this knowledge and sharing it in a way where people can actually pick it up. If we look at the social media, where you have lots of pictures, or the forums which seem very clustered and then not well organized, through that we aim to improve their lives, and in that sense of just making it easier for them to follow their passion.
Yeah, then finally we started thinking about, like, if we use these mindsets, what our main added values are of our business towards our targeted audience.
And in one sense, it's like we just said, the ease of practicing the action sport. That's the main goal, the main hat under everything lies. And also the sense of the creating connections and the network, which is aspect for us, and also the tailored for the user, like Victor said before, that is contemporary, and our users are used to using these apps for BlaBlaCar, renting from peer to peer, from private to private, and it's like they're used to it, but in that sense, it's tailored for them regarding action sports.
And finally, the educate about current and future trends, where we want to keep our users up to date with what's happening in their sport. They live their sport, so they want to know everything about it. They want to be very up to date. They want to, even if it's, for example, when we see the circular economy, that it's, if there is something happening with ecology and surfboards, that they know about it. So
It could be something from the launch of a new surfboard or a new mountain bike, all the way to, I don't know, a university project where they use alternative materials to create a mountain bike or create, I don't know, a suspension, or so like really going, and that's also a point where we can get in different kinds of companies, from large companies, of course, which are very present in action sports like Red Bull, I don't know, all these kinds of companies, but also have, like, make it more personal, because I think the users are used to getting all these ads from Vans, Red Bull, but like a nice symbiosis between like very personal and where they really feel like we're touching on them, and but also trying to get the key players of the sport into it.
that is
That's
the
it.
main message.
Want to answer them?
Working? Yeah. I think what I like of your idea is touching points like passion of the people, no? Make what connected what with the things they like to do, and it's also, as you say, contemporary. People is really used to share information. This also helps people to be connected. So it's really nowadays product, and at the same time, it's also the risk of your idea, no? Which is the new value behind of this. So this is my feedback. There is something good on it. What is new? What is the real new value for the user that might help them or might be attracted by your new app?
That's also why we want the lean strategy, to experiment, see how we can be different and how we can see, well, then we can see very up to date, like, okay, this is working, this isn't, so this we adapt. And
Really involving the users in the creation or the path of the platform.
You could start on a platform where like MVP, and then test what they like, and then improve. And as I started saying, I think the idea itself is quite interesting. So that's the other point, no? The balance finally. Okay, that's all.
Thank you, Jose. Interestingly, I noted exactly the same two words that Jose did. One clearly is about passion, and that's the basis of the whole business. And the other one is about its being contemporary. And I think because it's based on passion, it's personal, and you used the word personal yourselves a couple of times. And I've just wanted to suggest that you think about the personality that the business itself will present, because you're dealing on a very personal basis with your customer base. So you'll need to have a personality for the business. And I'm just, not necessarily for right now, just want to question whether you've thought about what personality you'll project for the business.
we also had earlier this week a course about the culture of, like, company culture. And since we had this course, we started thinking about it. So it's quite young, but it's a very, like, we started thinking about it, and we realized how important it was. We started looking a bit around with Red Bull and stuff like this, how these people do it, because they have quite the same target audience. So
And the point about it being contemporary is just a very quick point, which contemporary sometimes means fashionable. So to think about making sure that the business has elements to it which are, yes, contemporary, but which also are long-lasting, rather than being just fashionable.
you.
Just one thing. Probably if you're going into that direction, you could experiment with making this open source for the MVP. So it's not just about asking people or trying to know what they want, but teaming up together with them and making at least for the first phase of it, an open source thing. So, or even a co-creation thing where you can
at the moment,
bring
I think
them.
we didn't mention it, but there was one point on the lean startup where we said make the most of it, like that at the that we the limited resources that we kind of also want to like the developer when we had the discussion this week with how we talk to them, and we came up with that we would love to have a developer which is also into action sports or like so to connect on the people which work with us or like which we engage with on always on the not always but in the best case on the same topic of the action sports or the same passion.
Yeah, I'm more thinking about letting any user be a developer.
Yeah,
and
more
change.
like for example, make a blog, share our ideas, and that they can contribute to it. Yeah, that's.
So they can change it.
Or
Like you
add
can
new
see just
features,
results.
which
So they can add things or delete things.
suggestions.
And you have that, and of course you have like a
Backup.
backup
Yeah.
copy of it, so you can see what they change, what they reject, and it would be a good experiment to just let people do and change. Because most of the times when you get an app or there are things that you hate, but you cannot remove. You just can complain, and well, that complaint doesn't go anywhere. If you could just remove it, it's insight for you. So.
Very hands-on that they can. Yeah.
So they can just delete it, and then you notice they
Free for
deleted
us.
things, and then you know
There are a lot of people doing it. You know, like okay, maybe we should.
exactly.
Great, thank you. No?
Hi everyone, my name is Rodrigo, this is Maria and Andrea, and we're part of Fornit. Fornit is a leasing furniture service that we offer to foreign students that come to Barcelona to make their master's degree, like for maybe 1 year, 2 years, so it's like more a long-term rental. So we found this quote that we found interesting, and it can relate to our mindset. That is, the new status symbol isn't what you own, it's what you are smart enough not to own.
The rental market is growing as we speak. We rent our apartments, our cars, our bikes, so why stop there? People these days, especially millennials, which are our customers, rather spend money in experiences than buying goods. So with our service, we want to offer some kind of experience. We want to make them feel at home, and we want to ease that transition from their home to a new city.
Our company involves these topics: sustainability, money saving, trust, logistic, and quality. Sustainability, because we are going to use second-hand furniture, furniture that the people don't use anymore or they want to throw away. And we want to encourage people to be more aware about the environmental impact that is affecting our planet. It's also a money-saving company because we are going to offer our customers fee-month pay so that they don't have to pay at once a big amount of money. So they don't have to worry about that.
Trust is really important in our business because, as we spoke with John this morning, we realized we have to create some kind of relationship with our customer, and we believe furniture is really personal, so trust is really needed in this. And logistics are behind the scenes, and I think it's the base of our customer journey. We want our customers to avoid the hassle of going out to a store, buying furniture, delivery, pickup. So we want to do everything for them, like offer the service in which we offer efficiency and time saving, money saving. So logistics is really important.
And of course, quality, because we don't want our clients to think that, okay, it's a second-hand furniture, but we don't want them to look cheap. So it's like they're renting a bad quality thing. So the business mindset that we want to use is the circular economy, because as it says here, like there's millions of furniture being thrown away, like in the European Union. So we want to give a second life to this furniture. We want to, we can partner with some workshops to make the maintenance or refurbish this furniture so we can keep using we can still reuse it and just give them more time of life.
This week we learned that sharing economy is growing dramatically, and we use it right now we use it everywhere. We share, we rent, we gift among each other. So basically, we want to make a peer-to-peer based economy business and between students. The idea or what our goal is, like each student coming can rent from student living. So make it like a network. Eventually we want to partner up with maybe universities and make basically a sharing furniture among students network. That's
when you were talking about the different elements of the business, and you mentioned logistics being one, and that one of the aim of the business is that customers avoid the hassle. If the customers avoid the hassle, who gets the hassle?
Us.
That's what I was trying to get. So what the aim of the business is not solely to let the customers avoid the hassle, it's actually to reduce the amount of hassle in the whole process, really. So it's important to remember that. This is not just shifting the hassle from one place to another, actually it's trying to remove it completely.
When we talk about furniture, the first company that comes to my mind is IKEA, right? And you mentioned quality. Quality will be one of the values of your brand, which is, I think, one of the reasons to get a rented or furniture, because you can access to a higher quality product than if you buy in IKEA or something like this. So I think this is something interesting, and I think probably the business, the challenge is to have durability in the product and the logistics, the cost, how affects the cost of the logistics. And a suggestion I would like to give you is, what about customization of the product? I mean, interior design is very related with how I am and represents who I am, right? So you probably will need a large portfolio where you can select several different interior designs, right? That's only my suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi. Hi, I'm Gina. I'm going to talk about the business mindsets that I find related with my project, with Collab. Collab, it's an online platform that match creatives and challenge them with projects in order to encourage creative production. Then the first business mindset I find that I have a lot of to be, it's related with my project is the sharing economy because it's a peer-to-peer exchange. Also, the sharing of access to goods and services and resources, the resources circulation. Also, I find that the consumers can change their role. They could be providers and also obtainers. And the thing that I found interesting here is the access over the ownership. Like no one is owner of the project. Like it's just circulation of things. Okay, I found this Uberization that comes from Uber, that is the use of online platforms to facilitate the exchange between users. Whoa, oh no, it's okay, sorry. The other one is the creative economy, because well, the economy is based on creative expressions, and it depends of the individual creativity of each user of the platform. Here is the source of the value. Then, okay. The other one is the knowledge economy as human capital. Well, here I want to encourage people learning from others, their skills, their ideas, what they have already done, and what they could produce together. Then from these business mindsets, I get these ideas that, I already said, the peer-to-peer exchange, the assets are skills, creativity, and ideas. My product will be creative online content. Also, the construction of creative community that comes from sharing economy. Also, the access and share of ideas and knowledge, cultural and professional. I said cultural because I want this to be global, and the idea of having two people from different cultures and with different backgrounds, how they could balance their backgrounds to produce something together. Then that's what I find interesting. Also, the thing of we yesterday talked about the family business and the thing of thinking how to change traditional ways. I think this platform changed completely the production of content that it's normally in agencies and offline environments. And the benefits that I can offer to my users would be the creation of a reputation, exchange of ideas, a network, visibility, accessibility, contact, and a new creative environment different of what it's already done. And that's it. Thank you.
it's on. Okay. Just a couple of quick things. On the knowledge business mindset graphic that you had was a page from a dictionary which had the word focus on it. And I was just going to say the list of user benefits was very long and very varied. And I was going to say, have you thought about focusing the business, because there's a huge amount of opportunity for engagement there, and quite important to focus the business on actually achieving something specific. It's quite important that. The other thing was the list of benefits that you had. The user benefits were all for the creatives. So there will also be a list of user benefits for the recipients of the content. So it'd be quite useful to think about what they might be and how you might therefore target the people who would benefit from that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And to understand better your proposal, your concept, it reminds me somehow Behance. Could you explain me which will be the
Behance, it's only portfolio, like to show your progress in your own projects. Here it works more interactive, like you have your profile as creative.
The project is open, and then other people.
The platform gives the projects and challenge the creatives. But also the other side is the creatives are matched for the platform. Like the platform make the teams.
Okay.
Like looking who has these skills and these
Much
interests.
more collaborative, you know. Thank you.
No, wait. I think that here the main idea is that you are like a content factory. Right? So you are generating a lot of content, and you're finding ways to generate the content. And probably between all these matches and all these challenges, a lot of content will be created. So on the other side of it, there are like many ways of monetizing contents, because today we live in a world that consumes content really fast, and that claims for more content constantly. So you're creating this machine that somehow feeds multiple necessities in multiple media, art, education. Everything is content, and everything is knowledge in a way. So according to the classification of the challenges that you put there, or according to the results that you get as content, you could explore very different business models, from royalties, for example, to exclusive content creation based on challenges, to even like these photo banks that sell or rent content. There may be a lot of possibilities in terms of monetization that you need to start exploring in both senses. As John was saying, the benefits for the creative, yes, a place to creatively explode and generate a lot of things. But then within all this explosion, you will need to be able to monetize in many different ways. And I think there are many monetizing opportunities here. So you could even have multiple business models under different, I don't know, sub-brands, or serving different clients. So I think that as you have this factory of content, you will need to think about less in what the benefits are but also what it produces, okay? So, and where it can go. It can go to education, it can go to advertising, it can go to festivals, it can go to many, many places. So that would be wise to see the other end. And, yeah.
One more quick point, just actually picking up on that. In order to monetize, you will probably need to go back to that idea about the access to ownership, because intellectual property will be the way that the monetization is actually made, the valuations are achieved. So think about actually somebody does own this content, somebody will own the content, and those people, you as the platform owner, may well be one of the elements of that ownership.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about my project, BrandsCon. It's an online platform for brands and consumers. Those are the two different target audiences that I'm targeting. But after my meeting with my short meeting with John, I realized that inside the consumer's target, there are also different types of segments, like the influencers, the bloggers, and the normal consumers. The objective and goal of the platform is to create meaningful relationships between the two, and not just buying because it's the cheapest product or because that's the one that they have in stock. Based on the technology and the growth of social media, I think that this is an opportunity that we should take advantage of. In the case of brands, they will receive partnerships with us, and we will give them the opportunity to have consumers that go along with their identity and their image. And we will monetize this by adding fees for that partnerships. For the consumers, we will not add fees yet, because then it won't be beneficial for them. We will give them rewards and discounts that will motivate them to use the platform. The mindsets that I'm approaching with this project are the lean startup, because after this week, I realized that you don't need the perfect amount of resources to start your project, and you have to do it evidence-based. So by doing a minimum viable product, I will see the type of consumers, the interaction of the consumers between the brands, and by going to the possible brands for the partnerships, I will continue to pivot or persevere with the project to see if they are really interested in that platform or if it's only something that's beneficial for the consumers. Also, due to the growth in social media and technology and the sharing of information, I also applied the sharing economy, because it will be basically based on social media and the information that these consumers share for the companies, and the benefits that the companies and brands will provide for these consumers. There are two different value propositions for the platform that the platform provides for the brands and for the consumers. The brands the value proposition is that they will get loyalty from the consumers, and that they will continue to have future transactions for those consumers, because since there's an overwhelming amount of information these days, People want more loyalty and they want more choices in the products that they consume. For the consumers, the value proposition will be the rewards and the discounts that they will get for being in that platform, and also the fact that it's not going to be cheap products and irrelevant content, that it will be personalized and it will be meaningful to be a part of it.
It's on, okay. This is a matching structure between consumers and brands. Have you thought that it'll be based, I guess, largely around the data and the analytics that you'll be able to apply to that in order to match the consumer and the brand? Have you thought about extending beyond matching to actually advice for the consumer?
Started with a pretty general approach that also, apart from personalization and shopping, and also e-commerce, where I thought about selling also, but first I want to try the reward system. That's the added value of the platform. I want to see first if that's something that will work for both the site, which are I can add, like the lean startup, I can add an evidence-based approach.
Thank you. And think about the offer, the value proposition for the consumers. It would be worth, just a suggestion, would be worth looking at other forms of discount club, because this is what this effectively is, because there are quite a lot of models for that have been around for many years, not necessarily online ones, but worth having a look at how they work.
Listening your concept, your project, I don't feel like an expert to give you a really great feedback, because as you know, I'm a product designer. But I have seen from the other projects that everyone was talking about, for instance, a circular economy or sharing information. How you consider to include this in the consumer might, I don't know, invite to other and get some benefit or this kind of ideas?
Platform for consuming and for shopping. Beyond, I feel like the sense of model would be in the business area, since you're offering consumers with discounts and they're going back to the circular economy could also include environment and all that. I wasn't sure if I could include it in that sense. Model, but I would only put
What about if the brands that are in this platform has this in their values, like ecology, or you might maybe, I don't know, my suggestion.
Yes, it's probably a matter of value matching more than consumer brand matching, because each of them have basically like their DNA. So it's like it's more about taste and values than actually brands. So the analysis should be like, how do you choose your partners in terms of brands according to who are the audiences that you can connect with. For example, if you're thinking about millennial generation, then there is a set of values probably very different to Generation X because there's another set of values. And the same thing in terms of, for example, cultures, because some cultures value certain things or have embedded values, and they see that in brands, so they can really connect. So it's like a matching game, but not necessarily of products, but of people feeling that they do connect with those in a personal level. And then the added benefit is the discount, the promote, all those sort of things. And there is like a higher level of satisfaction in a different way beyond the material benefit that I get from paying less or getting 2-for-1. Beyond that, I feel that the platform understands the way I am, you know what I mean? And matches me with brands that are relevant for my set of values. So that's a lot of anthropology maybe in terms of analyzing the DNA of the brands and analyzing the values of the people, so you can really make that match beyond aesthetics or beyond products or beyond that. And I don't think there is a company that does that, because normally these segmentations are very different. Okay, so, and my question is, how do you see in terms of your MVP? How do you see your first MVP? How do you imagine it?
Track people and allow them to make a profile and to track their lifestyle of in social media and to see if those match for brands. Challenge would be, since at the beginning I probably will not have enough partnerships to offer rewards. The challenge would be how to make those consumers signed up for my websites so I can analyze their activity. Allow them to make a profile so I can see how that information would benefit the
My advice on that would be more like, why don't you build a website where people can talk about the brands, so they can say which values they think that brand represents, or you can even explore other websites or blogs that talk about that, because in that way you will see how people perceive brands, because brands may tell you, oh yes, we have these values, but it doesn't matter. What matters is what people see from them. So letting people somehow talk about each brand will let you know who thinks what about these or that brand. Exactly. And that's really easy to do because it's more like gossip, you know, is Facebook material, is things that people like to do, you know, gossip. Is like rating brands or criticizing brands. People love doing this, and it's the easiest way to engage people and also know what they think. You know what I mean?
name is Jane, and my project first is travel the world as a volunteer. And what I provide is a platform, provide a full experience of being part of an entertainment event volunteer. And my aiming customers is from many young people from 18 to 30, because they are normally kind of new to the society. They are eager to do communication, connecting, and explore, having fun. And the mission why I started this project is I wanted to empower the youngsters, mainly in Asia, or we don't get to know more about the world. And the business mindset, the first one is the gaming mindset. So I would like to think we start to experience a volunteer journey as we go into a game. Because if I have to die in 5 days, I would die playing video games, not working. So, the first, when we're starting a game, I think you have to set your character. Is you go into a new place, and then you can choose whatever you want to be. And also after that, you embrace the role you choose to be, and you try to do whatever you can. And then I think we define the elixir, because for example, after each experience you have, we provide you a higher level of profile. It's like we level up your CV. And then it's like you go into an adventure with a call from yourself, but you return with the successful return of the elixir. And after that, normally we continue competing, because what we enjoy is not only the reward we get, it's more like the pleasure we do on the journey. So each time we level up your survey, you came back, you open up a higher rank of game with full blood, you keep competing. And then you set your own rules and play it your way. Because if we give you a membership, let's see the higher membership, let's say the highest membership is a frog, and then you started as the egg of the frog, and this time you have a small area to swim, but you need the water, the environment to nurturing you to grow. So that's what we provide. And after each experience, you get stronger, you grow up, and then you go into a toad pool, which is, and then after that you can swimming larger area, and then you go into a frog, then you jump out of the water, you are free to jump wherever you want, so you are free to choose whatever you want to get, because you are skilled, you are more grown up, and you are more qualified by us. And then after this, you do your missions, because when we start doing missions, we think about what we have and what we can give, because it's at the end of the day, it's a we can see it volunteerism, like this kind of business. So at first you think about, I'm doing as a volunteer, and what I have, what I can give. But at the end of the day, you look back your journey, you think about you meeting new people, you are teaming up, you are learning new skills through the events you never been with, and maybe you never get a chance if you never participate, you never choose our volunteerism. So you think about it and you think, okay, I'm a volunteer, but why I get more than what I give? That's the mission part. And also, you get instant attainment because in real life, it's hard to be in a state of flow starting or flow growth because the feedback is normally delayed hours or days or months until you saw it. But with this kind of experience, you see what people satisfied by what you do, what they want you more, or what they want to get from you less. When they say thank you just politely, or they thank you with the bottom of their heart or something like this. So you really grow up faster, and it keeps you doing things as a full speed, and happier because you know what you are doing is right or wrong, and you change it immediately. This is the first mindset, and the second one is the growth mindset. It's first developed by a psychologist called Carol Dweck. She said, first, there's a contrary mindset is called a fixed mindset. It's like we see our life. If this kind of people, they see their life as a fixed box, so they open the box, that's what they have at all. So they just measure what they have, and they don't develop it. They will say, okay, this is what I have. I don't have the ability to get more. But with the growth mindset, we break through. It's like we see our life as a dark room, and you go inside the dark room, you fall, but you're always touching new things. It's not like the new thing's gonna change or something, but you break your limits and you find your potential in this kind of feeling and standing up again and feeling. So we break our limits and discover new potential. And the last one is the connecting method. So it's like our world is through connecting. We're reaching out through connecting, and the purpose of us is to find more connections. And it's both in personal and also in business. So the first, when we are connecting, is sharing positive emotions. It's not only like we are sharing positive emotions through a group of people, we also we share the emotions, both positive and negative. And when you share the negative emotions with the other, and then the other one cheers you up, so they gives you a sense of they reduce your pain. So it's also a positive emotion. So you feel more connected in a community. I think it's one of the most important way to build up a community, because it's like we strongly hold with each other more. And the second is promoting the other's well-being. The world is about, like, I say this company is good or this person is good, and then it's like I'm easier to be a friend with the friends of friends than I'm just talking to a stranger and I trust him fully. So it's about this one. And the last one is the perception of safety, because I think it's our tendency to stay in the area where we think we are safe, and within a community that we fully trust and we share the same kind of purpose or goal. We embrace the sense of safety, and also we discover more. We feel more free to create new things. And this is also the connecting minds is also the concept of the 2020 Dubai Expo, and their how do you say, the sentence is connecting minds, creating the future, because they think connecting is also the most important way to embrace the future, to add new things, or to find more potentials. And that's it. The world is watching. Where are you?
I I really like the way you have presented the game point and the connecting point as well. Sharing positive emotions, promote. You have explained so many ideas in short time. I'm really impressed, and I really like the whole presentation. So many points to consider, but I have no right now negative or something to say more than I'm really impressed to see your presentation. Really stimulating, and really I think it's sharing. There are several ideas we were talking, but you have put all together in an interesting way. Thank you.
One quick question, actually, which is relates the last thing that you said, which was as part of the connecting mindset. You talked about the perception of safety, and this being a safe place in which to achieve and to deliver and to grow with other connections. And I was thinking about the question of actual physical safety, because we're talking about an 18 to 30 age group, and if you've thought about safety and security around their welfare in events and things.
I think it's one of the most concerned problems through whether parents send their kids to our organization or the people themselves when they, let's see, I going to Dubai for travel, and the first thing I think about is, am I gonna be safe there? Am I looking strange, or people gonna say to me that I don't understand? Is it hard for me to just survive there for like a week? So I think this point with connecting is also like if we really connect with people, we communicate with this group of people around us, the security people, the local people, the emergency people well, then it not only gave us the sense of safety, it actually makes us willing to listen to them more. Like, if I like you, I listen to your advice and I accept it easier. But if I don't like you, even though your suggestion is really kind, like, don't go there, it's really dangerous, then I'll say, okay, if I don't want to go there, but you told me don't go there, then I go there, you know what I mean? So I think the connection is really important. Thank you.
How do you see your next steps after this week that we've been talking a lot about very different things? How do you see your next step?
I think because I discovered this kind of mindset, especially the gaming mindset. I always have this, but I didn't really know what's the mindset of this. And through the talk of today, they were like, okay, gaming is like really young people, they like it, and it's really, so he really gave me this kind of, oh, it's gaming, it's like I like gaming or something. So I think I will try to see how I can use this mindset to build up the organization. Like the gaming mindset, I was thinking I do a CV for them, so they keep wanting to upgrade their CV, and also the membership level up. So I think through each mindset, I want to develop something inside related to my project so that it can really fit to what I said and what I want to achieve.
Gamification is what you are applying to your project, and is a very powerful tool. So probably one good idea would be to start thinking about how maybe your first platform or your first recruiting website may look in this mindset. You know, like in creating it as a game, or creating all this universe that you are describing. And maybe you could read or watch some videos online about how gamification works. There is interesting, very short courses in Coursera about gamification, so you can really understand how to build this world in a systematic way, so you can make the most of it. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello. Yes. Okay, we are this Ivana. I'm Ivana. She's Daisy, and our project. To make it easier, since we don't have a presentation, our project is about creative consultancy for boutique hotels in Mallorca, or small luxury hotels actually in Mallorca. And our value proposition, first of all, consists in providing this creative direction to hotels in order for them to differentiate from all the crowd, to stand out, to build this brand reputation, reinforce and build this brand reputation, and to assure a long-term profitability for luxury hotels.
So during this week, when we have been exploring the different mindsets, actually we have realized that we have been very much immersed into the lean startup mindset, because we have been thinking a lot about testing our value propositions. Do really hotels need creative consultancy? Do they really need like cultural integration within the concept? And we're also in the moment of designing our business model, again, according to the lean startup methodology. But actually, when we think about the project, within the whole project, or like within the DNA of the project, is the design thinking approach. I remember that class of the IBM specialist saying that design is about relationships, not only from material to material, but from person to person. So this is also like what our project is about. It's about that relationship from like the guest and the hotel, but also the guest and the local culture, also us and our local partners. So this goes through our whole idea. Another aspect is the knowledge economy approach. What we know, it's also part of our offer. So we would like to also provide training for hotel managers in terms of specifically in trends. We would like to go further
like getting more knowledge about trends and trends framework. So we would like to provide managers with the tools for better understanding of their guests, so they can also by themselves being able to come up with new innovative ideas. And very important from yesterday class about the cluster and the business clusters. We have been thinking that that's actually a very important growth strategy for us. We were thinking about creating a luxury tourism cluster on Mallorca, because in this way we are not only going to make just one boutique hotel better, but we are going to lift up the destination completely, since it's going to involve all the institutions and local high-end restaurants. So the whole experience that the guest is going to have on the destination, we have an opportunity to improve it. And also for all the hotels, or for all the boutique hotels and luxury hotels, can also benefit from that. And the best idea from speaking with John today was about developing a boutique brand for big hotel chains, like why Meliá or Barceló don't have a boutique hotel brand. So I think this is also a very good opportunity for us to apply our knowledge with also big partners within the tourism industry.
Yeah,
So, you know, we are prototyping right now. And yeah, we have been a lot, as I said, in the lean startup mindset, but after this week, we have opened up our eyes in thinking more about, in terms of strategy, where we are heading and how we are going to actually build this business model in the long term.
Kinda, that's it.
Cool. Clusters. I sometimes part company with accepted wisdom when I think about clusters, because I don't see clusters as being purely about geography. They are partly about geography. Actually, a cluster is just another word for a supply chain. So you will have that local resource that will support the cluster of luxury hotels. Have you thought also about extending the cluster, because that will also include the rest of the supply chain, agencies who bring people to the hotels, transport providers, all of that sort of stuff? Have you thought about engaging with them as well?
We still haven't, because this is something from this afternoon. So we're now going to take into account the recommendation. For sure, yeah, because it's also the local institutions, the local government, and also the University of the Balearic Islands is on Mallorca, and it has already very strong reputation in tourism management.
And that picks up beautifully what I was going to say next, which is the word reputation, because of course what you're doing is in helping your clients to invest in their reputation, And have you thought about the kind of reputation that you want to have as a business?
The question was?
What your reputation? What kind of reputation do you want to have for yourselves as a business?
Like discussing that in terms of the growing and all, and we're aiming to build a reputation for our knowledge in strategic guidance for the boutique hotels and building their reputation. And that's why we're not looking to massificate our service, like being a massive approach or to a lot of hotels, but to have a selected group of clients to remain exclusive, and in order to deliver exclusivity for our clients.
So you will become a small luxury consultant?
Yes.
Small luxury hotels?
Yes, that's why in a mid-term, long-term, we're looking for, okay, if we want to assess bigger clients, chain hotels, we were thinking about why not developing a boutique brand for big chains, since people are looking for these hotels for the closeness, for all this ambience and the look and feel of the boutique hotels. That's the difference between a chain.
Basically, in a boutique, in your boutique, what people will get there are products, also service like beauty services or treatments or something like this. What kind of?
Boutique means it's more about the size of the hotel. It's usually very small, around, I would say, up to 50 rooms. So it has also more intimate atmosphere. You can more closely interact with the guests. So it's a hyper personalized attention. Also, it's usually within historical buildings. So they have a lot of charm, and the local heritage is very much integrated within the concept. And also because they have this kind of ultimate design, but also craftsmanship, and it blends together, I would say, luxury and tradition.
So the going there is already an experience. It's more than buying something, no? Is any possibility that not only guests from the hotel, but people coming from out that are not in the hotel join and visit and get more incomes? I mean, the hotel get more incomes because they are going for to have this experience. Is part of the business possible?
This is up to them, because our client is actually the hotel. So if the hotel wants the experience to be just exclusive for the guest, it's exclusive for the guest. If they want to make it more, let's say, like a promotional activity, so like in our case we're doing right now, they want to promote the restaurant, okay, so we do then a gastronomic experience, then it's open to more people. But this is our client decides in that case.
The client decides, but what is your ideal situation? What you would like to get?
Ideal situation in terms of?
I mean, of course, your customer will select the conditions. Is their space, no? Which scenario will be better for your business? Open for everyone, or only guests, or do you have this kind of?
Yeah, now I got it. I think the exclusive scenario is better, because people like to be part of something that not everybody has access to. So the more selective it is, the more also small, I would say, it's also important. So they feel like they're not like all the other tourists doing something that everybody else does, but it's something that it's so specially made for them. That's the boutique.
The luxury, yeah. Okay, thank you.
No, it's not a question. It's just a suggestion. Probably between between being a cluster and being a consulting agency. There are many places in between, right? Both ideas are interesting, but probably is not just one or the other. So my suggestion is, why don't you explore the cluster business model and also the value proposition of the cluster, and then explore the consulting business model and the value proposition, talk about it, and put it into a Sumex machine, and and get a new juice out of it. You know what I mean? So I will invite you to imagine that you will become a cluster, and then you do the whole thing, that you will become a consulting agency, blah, 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 and then find the good points and the good and bad. So evaluate and then bring a new juice. So thank you very much, everyone. I hope that the week, thanks to Jose and thanks to John, because we have had like a lot of good comments and good feedback here. Last thing for today is do remember to put your thoughts in your blog or PDF or whatever. Make it available to us so we can mark you. And see you next week. There is a deadline. Yeah, next week. Yeah. You could do it right now. Like. No, it's gonna be Friday. Like Friday, 1 week.